Hello everybody and welcome back to another episode of the Football Corner. In this one, however, we're going to tackle a much more highly regarded position than last time, the quarterback. Specifically all of the first round picks from last year's draft and see what they need to do to prove that they can make it in this league for years to come. The first quarterback is none other than the first overall pick, Baker Mayfield. As we all know, the Browns have received a lot of hype ever since the end of last year, and especially since the acquisition of Odell Beckham Jr. And this hype is deserving in a way. The Browns have an incredibly talented roster headed by Baker Mayfield, Odell Beckham, and Myles Garrett. Mayfield broke the rookie touchdown record last year, tossing 27 in his 13.5 games. He also threw 14 picks, which needs to come down a few if he plans on cementing himself into the elite category. It's not all about touchdowns and interceptions though. Mayfield made plays the entire season for the Browns, showing he knows how to escape the pocket and make reads at any point on the field, leading to big plays. You can say the Browns are the Browns and they have no chance, but this isn't the same Cleveland team that's been running Brandon Weeden out each week. I think there's a real possibility that Mayfield leads the Browns into the playoffs and maybe steals a game from a big-time team. There is no ceiling with Mayfield at the helm. I predict Mayfield to throw for 4,400 yards with 36 touchdowns and 12 picks. He's in for a huge year. The next quarterback we have to talk about is Sam Darnold. Heading into the draft, this is who I thought the Browns would be taking before they made their surprising pick. However, while every other quarterback on this list is a step down from Mayfield, Darnold has the talent to be a top NFL quarterback, and I think he also puts on a show this year. The biggest problem with Darnold for me isn't so much him as it is what the Jets have put around him. Robbie Anderson is pretty much a deep threat only, and Jamison Crowder has talent but has never put together any spectacular season. The depth behind those two is far worse as well. They did pick up Le'Veon Bell who can help in the passing game, but only so much. Darnold's rookie season wasn't great on paper, 2,800 yards, 17 touchdowns, and 15 picks. It's also not that bad. He flashed his stardom a few times in games against the Broncos, Texans, and Packers, but then he also threw 4 interceptions versus the Dolphins. That's something I think he will figure out. The Jets aren't a playoff team yet, but they are moving in the right direction. I think Darnold finishes the year throwing about 4,000 yards, 28 touchdowns, and also 12 picks. The next quarterback we have is Josh Allen. The Bills picked Allen with the 7th pick last year, and I'll say this, it did fill a need. I'm definitely not the highest on Josh Allen out of all these quarterbacks. Allen is your typical toss the ball 60 yards and see which team comes down with it. He also has a little bit of running ability, which I didn't expect, but nonetheless, he wasn't great his first year. He did have his flashes though, of course. Versus Miami in Buffalo, he had 5 total touchdowns, as well as against the Vikings, which was a massive upset mind you, where he had 3 more touchdowns. Just completely inconsistent is all. He had more interceptions than touchdowns and only a 52.8 completion percentage. He also had injury problems, the last thing you want to see for your quarterback. The Bills also don't have much talent in the receiving game, however there's a bunch of solid names that'll get the job done for now. However, if he can get his completion percentage in the high 50s and throw more touchdowns than picks, I'll have some faith that he can turn the Bills around. The Bills and Josh Allen have a long way to go, but there is hope with him. He could be the guy. I predict Allen to throw for 2,600 yards, 15 touchdowns, and 13 picks. However, he will also run for over 500 yards and another 6 to 8 touchdowns on top of that. Next is the only one on this list who completely failed in his first year in the league, Josh Rosen. Coming out of UCLA, he was deemed the most ready quarterback in this draft. Unfortunately for him, that wasn't true. In his rookie year, he threw for 2,200 yards, 11 touchdowns, and 14 picks. And it only got worse as the year went on. He threw for just 1 touchdown from weeks 12 to 16 and also threw 3 picks. Now, his situation was not ideal, but he didn't have it much worse than a player like Josh Allen, who at least showed his flashes, made some big plays, and won a couple big games. He also only completed 55% of his passes. His Cardinal days came and went quick, which is still surprising to me, but he's now a Miami Dolphin. His situation didn't get any better there either, playing on possibly the worst team in the league this year. He isn't even beating out Ryan Fitzpatrick in camp right now. The one thing he does have going for him is Preston Williams, a big rookie from Colorado State. He might be able to throw it up to him a few times to help boost his stats, but he is a long way from a finished product, and I don't see him taking that leap this year. My prediction for Rosen is he does step into the starter spot in week 3 or 4 and throws for 2,400 yards, 14 touchdowns, and 11 picks. The final pick of the first round belonged to the Baltimore Ravens, and they took a flyer on Lamar Jackson. Let me put it like this. The pick was great for them in year 1. He won most of his games and led his team in the postseason. He threw for 1,200 yards, 6 touchdowns, and 3 picks in his first year in 7 starts. Only 1,200 yards. He had a 58% completion, which isn't good, but it isn't the worst out there. But he only threw the ball 25 times in a game once. He also fumbled the ball 12 times in 7 starts, and then went on to fumble 3 more times in their playoff game. He literally couldn't even catch a snap. He also got very lucky with injury. He took multiple shots to the head running the ball last season. He won't be able to run nearly as much as he did last year and expect to stay healthy the whole time. Now listen, he has plenty of potential, but he must work on his passing if he expects to make it in this league. He's probably the 3rd best quarterback on this list, which isn't the worst placement because he's behind some pretty good talent, and he also has been blessed with a very talented team around him. I think Lamar can definitely learn to pass on the NFL level, but I'm not sure the Ravens will give him that chance before it's too late. My prediction is that, if healthy, Lamar will lead the Ravens back to the playoffs, whether by wild card or first round bye. He will run for 600 yards, 10 touchdowns, and throw for an extra 2,500 yards, 13 touchdowns, and 7 picks. For the most part, I think this draft class of quarterbacks will live up to all the hype they receive coming out. All but Josh Rosen have shown how great they can be, and even he has shown in college why he was drafted so high. The talent is there. If I had to rank them so far, it would be Baker Mayfield, Sam Darnold, Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen, then Josh Rosen. Thank you for watching. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and tell me what your predictions are for these quarterbacks heading into the 2019 season.